Hello everyone, welcome to another one of my videos, but interestingly I'm not going to talk about data in this one. I'm actually going to talk about how I came up with the name of my two current companies. And the reason for that is it was prompted by a question that was asked in the comment section on how do you select a name for your business? So if you are going to start your own data consultancy or data agency, how do you actually come up with a name? And the reality is there isn't actually a formula for it. I don't think I've seen a formula for where you come up with a name. You can go off and work with branding agencies and they can help you come up with a name. But I've come up with both my companies. I came up with a name, and they have been really random. Okay, so Subatomic Analytics, one of the companies that I run, I actually came up with that name while I was watching Ant-Man, a Marvel movie, with my son. So I was trying to think of a company name. I needed to register a company so that I could transfer over a contract with a client. And I was trying to think, what can I call it? What can I call it? And I wanted it to be related to obviously what I do. I always like to do a company name that's related to the business that I'm in, which is data and analytics. I have actually seen other companies that have like random names, nothing to do with what they actually do, and that works as well. But I wanted a name that would reflect what I did, okay? And obviously I was watching Ant-Man, and they talk about subatomic because it gets really small. And so my son and I looked at each other and thought, right, let's say we're going to call my company Subatomic, and then I added the analytics because, like I said, I wanted to sort of connect what I do to the name of my company. And the reason I like the name Subatomic Analytics is because what we do is we work with actually very granular behavioral data at Subatomic, okay? So therefore it fitted really well, okay? So that was just like a random thing, watching a movie. I was desperately trying to come up with a name, and we came up with Subatomic. Now my other company, B Data Solutions, how did we come up with that? So we were trying to brainstorm with my partners and some of the people who work for us of coming up with a new name for B Data Solutions. Obviously my partner had come from a company, Odin 360. I was still running Subatomic, and we had a few people who were joining from Odin, and we were trying to come up with a name. And we experimented and brainstormed with lots of different names, and then just suddenly I just said, what about B Data? Okay, because that's what we want people to be data, okay? And everybody liked it, and so therefore we created the name. Now I would have loved to have just called the company B Data, but actually that was taken. So because you've got to register your company in Companies House, the B Data term had already been taken. So we went with B Data Solutions, and also it would have been very hard to find a domain of just B Data. So we went with B Data Solutions, and then you could find domains. You could register it to Companies House, and so that all that became much more easier. Okay, so like I said, I'm doing this video because someone asked, how do you come up with a business name? And the reality is there is no formula for it. I've seen some people go for branding agencies and trying to come up with something. Other people like myself, we just come up with names. Some people actually call it after like their own name. So they'll say, like, I remember I had a sort of a company where I called it Shorful Consulting, and it was only because I was doing some freelance work while I was full-time employed. So I needed a company so that I could do all my taxes and stuff. And I called it Shorful Consulting. And I see other people do that. I've actually seen very, very smart names as well. And sometimes people use sort of like foreign names into that, and it means something that's related to what they do. But yeah, there's no set formula for how to do it. And also, when you come up with your company name, have some fun doing it, because then, as you go on the journey in building your own company, it's nice to reflect back and think, oh, look, we created this name through a fun way of coming up with it. And it becomes a very fond memory of, coming up with a name. Okay, so I hope you found that video useful. Like I said, it wasn't related to data, but I wanted to answer a question that had been asked in the comment section.